Hey there, Marge here from A Rose Grows in Harlem. It's Feeding Friday. Today is Friday, July 17th, 2026, and let's see what a week of rain has done to the bird feeders. All right, let's get ready for this crazy, unruly backyard. Have not cleaned up the weeds yet. I'm still trying to figure out the best method to do that, so let's just carefully walk, clearing any spider webs on my way here. I apologize for the camera work. It might be a little shaky, and I am looking out for, oh, look, can you see that? Dragonfly or something. Let me see if I can get it close up. Are you gonna come and visit us? Are you gonna come to visit us? I don't know. Maybe it'll come to visit us. But gotta focus because the spiders have definitely come out. I don't want to be walking through any. Here's one. Right over there, if you can see that web. I'm not getting anywhere near that thing. Okay, so, as suspected, I'm just gonna stop here for a minute. The squirrels have gotten to this. Now, I am going to zoom in and then zoom out so that you can hear me, because this microphone is not great when I zoom in. Completely empty, that one. Now, the other two feeders, which last week we decided to put the pieces of plastic in, they're still pretty full. So unsure if the birds have been feeding from there. I did see for one day a small bird in there, but we'll leave it up for another week and see what happens. Let me take this one down and refill it, and I'll turn the camera around. Well, they definitely loved the suet. There is not any suet left over from last time. So I did not get a chance to get some more this week, but I will be sure to get some more, and that's just at my local supermarket, which is incredible. So I will refill just the seed part. And again, this is the seed that I picked up at a local discount store. If you guys have an Ollie's in your area, that's where I picked this up from. It was rather inexpensive, and it's supposedly, it's from an Armstrong company. It says Canada's premier bird food. Maybe that's why it was on sale. But it says attracts blue jays, dark-eyed juncos, mourning doves, and more. And then it's repeats it in French. And it says cut corn. The ingredients are cut corn, wheat, red milo, white millet, black oil sunflower seeds, and red millet. And the preferred feeders, all the ones that I have, it says platform, the one with the round area, or the tubes. So obviously it's basically good for anything. I'm just gonna put it in there, and there are a little bit more sunflower seeds in there because I added what I had left over from last time. So I'm just gonna pour that in. You won't be able to see it because I'm not changing camera angles today. I'm kind of in a rush. Actually, I think that is the end of the bag. So I will have to go back to see when I first started using this, because I think this lasted me, I would say maybe, if I were to fill every week, I skipped some weeks because the rain was really bad and the heat was really bad. But I would say this, I think, I'll have to double check. I think this got me about 2 months worth of this type of feeder. And this is a 20-pound bag. So we'll have to do the math later on. The rest is going to be chatting, so let's go inside, and I have some numbers for you and things to calculate. Yay, back inside, away from the mosquitoes. So, as you saw, the 2 bird feeders that had the cage around them were still pretty much up to the top full. Now, the first time I put those out there, it took the birds a while to figure out, hey, there's bird food in there. I think I ended up shaking a little of the seed so that it would show up on the outside, but with the squirrels feeding on the other feeder, they shake that whole frame enough that some of the bird seed did come out. So even though it looked like no birds were there, I figure in about another week or so they'll figure it out, because that's what happened last time. I was really worried because I was so excited to get this new feeder. I saw one bird on there, I got so excited. I went out, I bought another feeder just like it, and then it seemed like nothing was happening. So it's just a matter of getting the birds out there. And I think because they're not seeing the squirrels on there, it doesn't look like there's food. So all the critters that, you know, don't like the hot stuff are not on those feeders. So the birds are like, why should we go there? There's nothing there for us. But there was one bird this week that I saw. I'm not constantly looking out that window. It's not like outside of my office or anything. So I don't get a chance to view it unless I'm specifically looking out the window. But the one time I did look out there and I did see, I was like, oh, is that a chipmunk? Is that a bird? And it was a bird. He sat his little self on the little ledge and was eating. So that's good. Some birds know it's there. It just takes them a little time. Now, last week, I wanted to see if it was more cost effective to actually buy the pre-mixed hot food from the good bird store, or there are bird stores in my neighborhood that are specifically meant just for bird food, for feeders, and for feeding wildlife. And it's pretty expensive, so I wanted to see which was better. Should I buy the pre-made food or should I mix it myself? So I looked it up on their website, and I know that every place is a little different. My store is called Wild Bird Unlimited, I think it's called. It's so funny. I know exactly what it looks like, and I don't remember the name. I think it's Wild Bird Unlimited. That's where I get my fiery feast. Now, I've done videos before where it's basically just some cayenne pepper that's mixed up with the food, but it's all pre-packaged and ready to go. That is $87 for 20 pounds of food. Now, if I go to my local supermarket, I'm in the Atlanta area, so if I go to my Kroger, I get 25 pounds of bird food for $20. Now, granted, that food I have since learned has a lot of filler, so I think it is the Milo. The little tiny red looking seeds, those are filler, and that is catering way more to squirrels and chipmunks and they use it for filler for the better bird seed, like sunflower seeds and other things like that. Now, you're not getting that when you're paying the $87 for the more expensive food. You're getting sunflower seeds, you're probably getting more nuts and fruit sometimes. So you're paying for more filler than the seed that the birds will eat, but that's okay. Now, we have $87 on one side. For the bird seed from Kroger, you're getting 5 more pounds for way less money. And if I were to mix in the cayenne powder and the chili powder, I also took those costs. And the cayenne powder, which is this one, is from Ollie's, I believe. And Ollie's sells all of their spices, and this is 2.25 ounces is $1.50. If I were to get something similar like this from the Dollar Tree, that would be $1.25. So still, let's just do it at $1.50. So I have the cayenne powder and then the chili powder, which is a mix of other spices. So if I got 2 of those, that's $3. And based on what I used as a mix just for one filling, I used about, to fill the 2 caged bird feeders, I used half a bottle of this. And I think I used this cayenne powder before. So let's also say half a bottle of this. So let's say per week, I needed, I don't have a scale. I might have to scale this out. At least for the spices, every week I'm gonna need, if it's half and half, that's like 1 bottle. So let's say $1.50 per week, and then divide 25 pounds. Let's say each canister was a pound. So that's a lot of weeks. Let's round it down to 24 so that we could divide it in half, and that's about 12 weeks worth of food. So 20 divided by 12, it's way cheaper than $87. Now, are you getting the quality of the food? No. So a lot more of it might fall to the ground, but that can also be due to the fact that it's a swinging platform feeder and it's not attached to, something that's solid. Now I have, what is this thing called? I have a tri-tel pole, which is supposed to hold a really large bird feeder, and then it telescopes down so that you could feed it and, fill it with food and then telescope it back up. So that is a great segue into my next plan. And if I have a chance, I will go outside and show you, but I'm probably gonna end up doing that with my garden cleanup series. Basically, what I'm going to do is I would like to remove the feeder stalks that I have there. It's not really a shepherd's hook because it's a 4-way, but I have 2 of those out on the side yard, and you've seen them. That's where I normally put the hummingbird food. But what I would like to do is I would like to take those out of the front yard, which is going to take some effort because I have pounded those hooks into the ground. So I have a method, and I'll show you how I remove those from the dirt. And then I had these 2, I don't think it was beech, I think they were cedar boxes that were made by somebody local. Somebody just put on Craigslist that, hey, I've got these cedar boxes for $125 each. I was like, okay, I guess I'll bite. I'm supporting someone local. And he literally just put these cedar planks and just stapled them in. It wasn't well made, but I was like, whatever, this guy needed some cash, so let me support somebody local. And then my boyfriend ended up taking, actually, you know what? Let me just bring you outside. Is there anything else that I have to show you here? Let me take a quick segue outside. Okay, so this is currently the side yard. These two poles are the two poles that I want to pull up and put into the backyard so that I could have the bird feeders away from the house, away from the trees, away from everything. And then I'll keep the frame of the greenhouse for the squirrels so that they have some place to eat, so they could be as messy as they want. Now, here, from this pillar, or from that post to that post, should be about 4 feet. And what I realized is that these are the whatchamacallit, these are the cedar planters that I had created. So you see how they're kind of falling apart, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to move it. But if everything works out and I do this entire clean area, I will take this from this area and put one of them here and one of them here. And what that will do is will give me 2 raised beds, one there, one there. I will be able to move from this craziness, that area, that'll free up that spot. And then I will use these, I don't even know what to call them, stalks, posts, I don't know, these hanging things, these 4-way shepherd hooks. I'll bring that outside, and I'll bring that to the backyard and I'll use them. And I will also secure them because this is some pretty shoddy work. It's kind of like not the most sturdy, so, but I will end up reusing that. Those are my blueberries over there. That container over there was where my compost used to be. This section with this little hanging, with the little house structure, was years and years and years ago. I used to put plastic over it to try to overwinter my plants, and I found out you cannot do that without some kind of heat source, so I just left it up there because I was lazy. That's where I grew my beans and my edamame last year. This is where I had voluntary corn from the bird food, and my excellent walking onions, which are just incredibly, I mean, look at how big these are. Huge. And I love them. So they are taking over everywhere. You'll see them over there. That is my protected compost pile, which I use right now for our kitchen scraps. And we have some voluntary plants in here. This is some kind of privet, I think, because that's what this is. Some privet. This apparently is supposedly in the amaranth family, and if you take these seeds, you can grind them like flour. So that will be another experiment I do, maybe not this season, but eventually. And you can see the spent corn that has been properly decimated. So the animals definitely got their fill. This is where the flocks used to be, and there is a lantana in there. I just don't know if it survived. So let's get back to the basement. Okay, and then the last thing that I wanted to mention was that I am doing a lot of experimentation and a lot of research. I was thinking about maybe writing about it because it's a lot to do in a video, and it's just a lot of me talking. I have a lot of ideas and so many things that I would like to try, but I don't know if I want to capture it all because it may be boring, maybe not. I do a lot of my thinking a lot better when I'm writing it out. So I might take up my blog again. I had something on Buy Me a Coffee. It was really just to get my thoughts out there. But then I fell out of the habit of writing, and I think I might end up picking that up again. But the 2 major things that I want to do are composting, and 2 major composting methods I want to try. One is humanure. I got this book off of bookshop.org. Check out bookshop.org. it's great to get some used books. And I think I have, do I have a book list? If not, I'll put it down in the description. But I was very interested because part of being prepared is knowing how to get rid of your waste, how to get rid of your food waste, how to get rid of your human waste, and how to do it safely, because you cannot just take your poop and put it in your compost bin. That is not how to do it. So I got this book, but because of the crazy outbreak that we have that has come up recently, I was like, you know what, let me go to my book. This has been sitting on my shelf for a while untouched, and I was like, today is the perfect day to pick it up and see if it has any information about the, what is it, the I don't even know how to say it, Cyclospora outbreak or something like that. There are longer names for it, but that's what I remember. So I looked in the index and there was nothing about it. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, because this is not a new outbreak. It happens every year. And this is not something that has just magically come up. I think they've known about it since the 80s, which is not so recent anymore. So I was like, okay, well, what information do you have? And I looked at chapter 13 on worms and diseases, and they talked about worms, they talked about bacteria, they talked about viruses, but they did not talk about this stuff. So I ended up going onto a website that talked about sanitation and ways to actually help keep yourself safe from this crazy outbreak. Let me see. Cycloporiasis, and I probably am still saying that wrong, but the this article was from some place called Service Master Clean, and they are a professional cleaning company. And I probably should have written up some points, but it just tells you what cycloporiasis is. Gastrointestinal illness caused by the microscopic parasite Cyclospora. Okay, so Cyclospora is the parasite, and when you get sick with it, you get cycloporiasis. And unfortunately, what is it? What are the symptoms? Watery diarrhea, explosive and frequent, stomach cramps, loss of appetite, nausea, bloating, fatigue, and sometimes some low-grade fever and body aches. And the worst part about it is that while the parasite itself will not kill you, it's very harmful for you, because you might get really, really sick from dehydration because you're going to the bathroom so often. So how does it spread? It's a foodborne illness. The parasite hangs on to fruit, vegetables, anything that has been exposed to fecal matter. Unfortunately, that happens a lot, and we're finding out some of the farms that are actually have this problem. And one of the more recent farms that had it is Taylor Farms, and this is not the first time that there has been an outbreak. Unfortunately, they do not offer really great conditions for the people who work there, and they are forced to go to the bathroom out in the fields. And even if you don't have symptoms, you can still be a carrier. So if that fecal matter touches the produce, it can be carried out, and it's not great. They talk about it doesn't spread from person to person, and there is a great video that I will also link down in the description from a doctor who explains the entire process. Basically, the eggs get transferred into the fecal matter, and it takes about a week for it to for them to bloom, to, I don't know what that proper terminology is, but basically for them to be passed on to something else. And if you're taking care of somebody who is sick or someone who is infected, you will not transfer it to, or you will not get it transferred to you. So It is resistant to standard chemical disinfection, so you can't clean it up with sterilizers, with bleach or anything else. But what you want to do is scrub areas where raw food has been actually in contact with the surface. So that's any cutting utensils, any counter space, or if you're using a chopping board or any kind of cutting board. You want to make sure that you clean that well with soap and water, scrub it really well, and put it under running water to get rid of anything like that. So I will put that article link in the description if you want to read more about that, and then I will also link the video where the doctor explains what's happening. So what does that mean for us? That means we have to be careful when we were eating raw food. If avoidable, avoid it. When you eat out, I am planning to ask that they do not garnish things if the garnish has not been cooked in some type of way. If that is not possible, I will be eating home for the foreseeable future. That's not, it's very easy to do. I would prefer not to if I can, but we'll see what happens. And then that gets me to my second method of composting, which is bokashi. I want to have an entire series on that and how that's going to work. And that's going to happen way faster than this human manure. I have to go through this book, make tons of notes, figure out what's happening, and you know, it's only to be prepared in case the septic method that we have right now to get rid of waste goes away. It's just a preparation tactic. My household is not a household that would want to use it, I don't think. I wouldn't mind using a composting toilet, but getting other people in my house to do it might be might be a task they don't want to take. So, which is fine. Again, just in case of emergency. But anyway, back to the bokashi. I have already started the process of making my own. I am going to film this, and right now I'm preparing different stages so that I have, when I have the video ready, I could show all of the stages in different, I could show what's happening at each stage. And yeah, that will be a whole separate series. I'll make a playlist for that, and then I'll have that on another day of the week. I was thinking about doing it as one video. I thought about maybe doing it as a bokashi with me or something like that to see if you wanted to do it week to week. That might be a little daunting. I may make an all-in-one video to show how it's done, and then if you guys are interested and you wanted to start it from scratch, I think I'll be happy to do that with you. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. But yeah, so those are the updates for this week. We have the critters are being fed, the birds have their spicy food, and the rain, I'm sure, will continue on throughout the weekend. I hope that you are all safe out there, that you're resisting in your own way. And just remember that gardening is resistance. Get out there in your community, see who needs help, see if everybody is okay. There might be an elderly person or a person who is homebound, who is not able to get out. Check on them, you know, this weekend. Make sure that they don't need anything, and if they do, maybe offer some assistance. But I hope everybody's doing okay. I hope you're having a good Friday and that you will have a great weekend. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!